Hello and good afternoon. We are back today with even more Attack on Titan Origins of Power previews. Thanks to UVS Games for sending these out. Sounds like we're going to have a whole lot of content creators releasing videos with a bunch of cards each this week. I have 6 cards here to talk about, and just as a reminder, the pre-releases are coming up. They're just over 2 weeks away. November 1st through 7th, formal releases on November 8th, so keep an eye out on that. We'll have a link to the pre-release store list in the description, as well as any other useful links I can think of to put in there. But yeah, 6 cards. There's going to be 3 uncommons, 1 nifty uncommon, and a couple of ultra rares here. We'll get through the commons first. First one already up on the screen. Not a whole lot to say about this. It's Frontal Bombardment. It is a 4/3 5/4 blank attack with a +1 low block. Has the range and Titan keywords if that's what you're interested in. But, you know, just a simple standard blank attack common. The stats are a little bit worse than Ryukyu's version of this, but nothing too embarrassing. If this is, you know, if you just buy your first box of the game is Origins of Power and this card ends up in your deck, it's not going to embarrass you or anything. Nobody really wants to block a 5/4. If you put some damage on it, it's not too bad. Got a nice +1 low block as well. It can be a useful little role player in some niche situations, but mostly a card you'll be looking to replace with something a little bit better over time, but a perfectly fine card for small collections and for limited for sure. Next up, we have Swinging Slam. This is a bit of an interesting one. It's a 5/3 4 mid 5 throw with a +2 high block. So if you're just looking for throws, being able to get one that has meaningful speed and has a decent block on it is a pretty nice property. If you're looking for slam attack deals damage things, you might also want it for that. So, you know, again, pretty blank outside of the throw keyword, but you see a lot of decks will, you know, just run throws just because they're throws and not really care too much about the text that's on them. And this just embraces that and gives you a nice little above rate stats considering where throws normally land, you know, for the downside of not actually having any text on it. But potentially useful, you know, a card we could see show up here and there in a throw themes type of deck. And the third common we have to talk about, Brief Respite, 1/5/3 high block, enhanced Saka Foundation, gain a health. A little surprising that we haven't quite seen, we've seen a lot of 1/5 Saka Foundation, you know, spams out there as sort of these, make sure you have ways in your deck to get out of deadlock methods, but I don't think we've actually seen a straight just gain 1 health on one before, so it's kind of cool to see that filled. Has the life symbol, of course, which makes sense, you know, from a symbol identity perspective. Certainly very, very interesting for Ymir. We get more cards like this, you know, these life attuned symbol health gain cards. It might make Fire Ymir a little more viable, which is an interesting route for her because you get to run something like Barrier Shield, right? Fire has some nice tools and just hasn't quite had that standard bearer character for it yet. So pretty interesting card. I imagine we will at least see this in some Ymir situations. Maybe some other decks will decide that this is the thing they want to use as their sack outlet. If you're running things like Carbo Loading, you can sack a Foundation to gain health and ready something. And that's pretty good. So, pretty nice little spam. We'll be seeing that around. Alright, now on to the spicier cards. These are going to be, I believe, not understanding the show very much, but I imagine these are very Hanj Zoe themed. Because we have the Thunder Spear, which I'm guessing is some manner of invention of theirs, all things considered, or something that they're involved with. And this is, the spear itself is an asset. It is a 2/5/0 mid-block asset, which is very nice stats. It is not unique, but it has a funny static that makes it semi-unique. You're not allowed to have 3 of these. I'm guessing this isn't for any power level reasons, but just for the flavor. You have 2 arms, so you can hold 2 spears, at least judging by the picture. I kind of appreciate that I know nothing about this, and the art makes it pretty clear what's going on. The things that are in green are the spears, right? I have to assume, and you know, these are a weapon of some kind that probably, you know, have a lot of high impact. They look like they do something pretty explosive, so pretty cool there. Liking the art here. As for the effect itself, for your 2/5/0 mid block, you can sack it to give a ranged attack 3 damage, and your next attack of any kind to 3 speed. So 2/5 sack for 6 total stats, has the infinity symbol. Probably, you know, certainly too good to have on a +0 mid-block foundation. Right, not something you'd see in that form. So it gets to be an asset, you get a little more power out of that. It does have the ranged and weapon keywords in and of itself. So something like that Mikasa that wants to play a bunch of weapon keyword cards might be interested in this. Pretty neat piece. It's a little hard for like a self-destructive asset that just does stats like this to see play. At least the Foundation versions never see play, but I mean, they're good stats and it's 0 mid block and it's infinity. I have to assume it'll show up in some places at some point. And next we're going to talk about the uncommon. We showed the Thunder Spear first because these next two cards are Thunder Spears themed. Here's Thunder Spear Detonation. I like this one. This one's pretty cool. It's a 5/3 5 mid 5 with a 2 low block. Has powerful 3, ranged weapon. And after you play the powerful ability, you get to draw a card and your next attack gets 3 speed. So for your momentum, when you play that powerful, you're not only getting the 3 damage, you're also getting 3 speed on a move and drawing a card. Pretty nice payoff, all things considered, and the base rate's not too bad. You know, 5/3 5 mid 5 is something you can lob out there with a straight face. That's perfectly fine. Fills in your low block, has a couple different traits on it to work off of. Pretty good card. Life attuned, so you might think you want to put this in a deck that has some kind of built-in momentum generation if you want to feel really, really good about it. So something like the new Sasha. But, you know, decks get momentum, right? That's a thing that happens, so you could certainly toss a couple of these in all sorts of different decks. And more powerful range, get damage, get speed, kind of on theme with the spear itself, with the asset. I think it's pretty cool that they kind of replicated the two effects on the asset itself and on this card here. I think that's neat. And then our last piece is the second ultra rare, and this is Hanja's Thunder Spear Strike. This is a fairly innocuous on its face, 4 difficulty 4 low 4 with a powerful 3, has a +2 low block, 3 check. We've seen this, you know, even at common now get 4 speed 4s with powerful 3, right? Well, this one, if you are at 10 or less health, it gets -1 difficulty. It's a nice little bonus. That thing comes up sometimes. This is life attuned, so I believe that will not go in Ghidorah, if that's the first thing you're thinking, but still, it's something that happens. People end up at low health sometimes, and this gives you a little bit of extra there. But mainly, if a foundation's been destroyed this turn, anywhere, anybody's foundation, your own if you're Hanj, obviously, but, you know, if you're a different character, different deck, if you're blowing up your opponent's stuff, that counts too. This attack gets 2 speed and 1 damage. That brings it up to a 6 low 5 powerful 3, which, if you squint, is pretty close to Walk the Dog stats. Right, doesn't have the stun one, doesn't have the extra damage, doesn't draw a card. But also, you don't need to worry about your opponent being committed out or anything to actually play it on a 4 difficulty, so it's a pretty good stat line. It's a little bit better than Gouging Needle. This has a +2 low block instead of 0 high, obviously, but Gouging Needle's a perfectly good and relatively frequently played card. You know, maybe more for the high block, but just having a fast, low, powerful move is quite good. So yeah, this should find some homes. Again, another ranged weapon. All the Thunder Spear cards seem to have that going on. But just a nice, solid, not completely breaking the game mold, not super power creepy or anything like that, but a good ultra rare for sure. That I imagine we're going to find some decks to put this one in. And that is the last card, so that will do it for our 6-card preview here. Hope you like these. Write in the comments, let me know what you think. Have any cool ideas to use some of these Thunder Spear and the Detonation cards on in particular? They're a little bit combo-y. You're trying to think about what attacks do I want to use this on first and second to make this work. The Thunder Spear itself requires a ranged attack, so that's one piece of it, but pretty interesting to play around with. So, you know, let me know if anything comes to mind. I think there's some interesting workshopping to do here, and yeah, enjoy the week of previews. We're going to get quite a lot of these if, you know, any indication from just hearing from the number of people that say they have some videos coming out. This one, hopefully one of the first, but there will be many more to come. So, enjoy those, have a nice week, and take care.